I've spoken about the foundation, and we have 5 pillars. The first one deals with the community rights, because we feel that you have to secure the rights in order for communities to invest, and this comes from the common property, resources concepts which have been discussed many years ago. And the second pillar is the institutions. Because we feel that having a strong institution at the local level to lead a community development is key. And this institution, in fact, is legislated. It's called the Community-Based Natural Resource Management Committee, and also the Community-Based Natural Resource Management Councils, which are supposed to be beyond integrating the community, but bring the private sector, the local government, NGOs, etc. So we think this institution is key to lead the development. But also when we talk about the institution, we are looking at the micro level, where we have these different small groups of people who are organized around the development of different enterprises. We used to call them grupos de interesse in Mozambique, which are interest groups or associations for micro enterprise. So the way those are organized and strengthened, and how the law, in fact, recognize them, it's key for them to get access to credit, because the banks don't recognize an institution which is not registered. And this is another, issue that we learned in the process, that it's really key, and maybe this GFP can help, in building those partnerships to overcome some of the constraints that we found. The third pillar has to do with the technology. You have the rights, you have the organization at the local level, but what do you do with the timber in order to add value on it? You can do charcoal, but is charcoal the best you can in terms of a return on what you are harvesting? Is producing crafts, but what quality of crafts, to which market, at what price, what is the cost of production? So all those aspects we think are key, part of transferring technology to transform the natural resources into viable economic products, viable in terms of profitability, but also looking at the sustainability of the source of natural, of the raw material that produces those. The fourth pillar deals with the issue of accessing the financial institutions. Because we have come to realize that the NGOs, the development agencies, cannot fund forever the small enterprises at the local level. So you need to build the capacity of the community to be able to identify alternatives, to get that additional support that they need. And here I have to stress one thing that maybe is making CBNRM really have a problem, is that we take it as a 2 to 5 years initiative. There's no business that is established, develops first and consolidates in 5 years. So how do we expect that to happen at the local level, where we even have a big gap, in terms of training? The literacy is so huge. So you have so much time to invest in capacity building for people to understand. And yet, in 5 years, you want to see the benefits. You want to move on as a development agency, or as a, NGO, or as government, to help others. But then you are leaving behind communities which are not prepared to go and get the financial support that they will continue to need, and any business would need, in order to develop and consolidate and start to generate income and reinvest it. So we think that's a key pillar. And the last one, of course, you can do all the things if you have no market, to sell it, and sell it at a reasonable price, because most cases you find that the communities work very hard to produce sometimes very good quality products, but they sell by the roadside. And they can sit there for days. No car is passing, nobody's buying. So the first one who comes and stops, can get it at any price, which does not reflect the cost of the raw material does not reflect the investment in labor that the person has made to produce this. So it's really like giving away, you know, and you're not helping the communities to develop. So those are the 5 pillars. And then our, you know, our roof. Our roof is made of what will be the result. I mean, if you have a roof, you don't get wet, you don't get burned by sunshine. It means that you are in a comfortable position. And for us, the comfortable position is to have achieved 2 objectives. One, sustainable use and management of natural resources, and improved well-being of the people, you know, getting people to get out of poverty, you know, to have a sustainable source of income, you know, which they can use for meeting their food needs, the education for their children, you know, for addressing the health issues, which were there in the bottom, by the way, you know. So as a foundation, that's what I mean. So that's the concept.